Hey y'all, in today's video, I'm going to be showing y'all some of the lunches that I have recently packed for my kids to take to school. My daughter is 10 and my son is 8. So this first lunch, I'm going to send them some rotisserie chicken and provolone cheese sliders. Now, my kids absolutely love rolls of any kind, but they especially love the King's Hawaiian sweet rolls. So I am going to be giving them each 3 sliders since these are on the smaller side. And again, I just know how much they love these. So I just have 6 laid out on my cutting board and I'm just getting those cut in half. Now here is the rotisserie chicken that I picked up from the grocery store. As soon as I bring those home while they're still warm, I like to pull it off the bone, shred up the chicken and put it in a bowl. That way I can just store it in the fridge and we can pull it out anytime for a quick lunch or whatever I intend to use it for. So super handy. We all love rotisserie chicken in our house. I got to thinking about chicken salad sliders, and that's what kind of led me to this. My kids are not going to eat chicken salad because of all the mayonnaise and stuff, but I was like, let's try it out plain, see how they like it. Now, this provolone cheese right here, I've talked about this before. It's the private selection provolone from Kroger. It is our absolute favorite. I have tried many different brands of provolone cheese, and we like them all, but just something about this one is special. And, sometimes it goes on sale, sometimes I find a coupon, and every single time I will go and grab a pack. It's just so good. And here I'm just using a little biscuit cutter. I got a set of these from Amazon years ago of all different sizes. So I'm just using the small one to cut out perfect little circles to fit the sliders. You absolutely don't have to do that, of course. Most of the time I would just tear it, but I guess I just woke up this specific morning in a good mood. Now all that's left to do is to add those tops right back on there. You could definitely add some mayo or maybe some mustard or really any sauce that you think your kid would like, but my kids, they don't want any sauces. So there's a little close up of that. It's extremely simple, but my kids are simple people, and that is completely fine. So here's the containers that I'm going to store all of their lunch in. I got a pack of 4 of these from Amazon. I can link those down below in my description box. It's not been too long since I bought those. And like I said, I am going to give them each 3 of these. And if you wanted to make it a little fancier, I guess, you could use those cute little picks that I've seen a lot of other people do for their kids. It'll also kind of help it stay together, but I didn't really have that issue. Now, to go along with it, I was really excited for this. So, my kids love strawberries. It's always been one of their very favorite things. And I came across a video not too long ago on TikTok for a strawberry salsa with some chocolate pretzel crisp. I think that's what they're called. And it just looked so good, and I have been so excited to put that together for my kids because I knew they would just love it. So I just have my strawberries here that I washed and dried. I cut those green tops off and I just diced it as small as I could. And once I got them all diced up, I'm just transferring them to a small bowl. And I'm just going to take some honey and drizzle a small amount over it. And I'm just going to mix all of that together the best that I can. It definitely did not mix together as easily as I had imagined it. The honey kind of wants to clump up a little bit, but no biggie. It all works out. So I'm just going to evenly distribute that between both of these boxes as equal as I can, because we all know how kids can be. But I'm just going to put that into the smaller little section of that container. I had just a little bit left over that wouldn't fit, so I took care of that. But here is those chocolate pretzel crisps that I was talking about. I did not know that these were even a thing until I saw that video, and they are just so good. But I will say, I feel like they are a little overpriced in my opinion. I feel like you don't get that many for what you pay. So it's definitely something I'll repurchase, but just not all that often because of the price. But for the drinks, I'm going to give them each one of these Welch's Tropical Punch, 0 sugar. These are new and they are so good. They also have a grape one, which I also bought. I'll show that later in the video. But there's a couple plastic spoons in case they need help with that strawberry salsa. And then one thing about me, I've always got a huge stack of random napkins from all kinds of different occasions and events. So they never know what they're going to get. Now I'm just getting everything packed up. These are not the lunch boxes that they usually take. These are just some backups that I keep in the pantry. Their other ones were in their dad's truck. But anyways, this whole lunch was a huge hit. They loved everything. Up next, we're going to do some hot dogs. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've ever sent them to school with hot dogs. I've always been kind of hesitant because I didn't know how they would like the temperature of it. Wasn't sure how it would turn out, but I finally got brave enough to give it a try. So, our most favorite to buy is the ballpark beef hot dogs that are bun length. I do tend to buy those the most. And I'm just going to boil those in some water. The kids really like it that way, but you could also do like the microwave or an air fryer, just whatever. But I'm also going to give them some fresh pineapple. They actually requested this, and I figured that I would show y'all how I cut a fresh pineapple because I truly feel like it is the easiest way, and I hardly ever see anybody cut it the same way that I do. So I always cut off the top and the bottom first, and then I set the pineapple up and cut it into 4 sections. And then I just take a section and cut out that core. Very important if you are not used to cutting up fresh pineapple. To me, it's unedible. It's just very chewy and not good. So cut off that core, get rid of it, and then I just cut the middle of that pineapple. You don't want to cut it like all the way straight through. You just, until you feel that skin, that's where you stop. And then as you see here, I just take each section and very carefully cut it and let it fall into a big bowl. Now, I'm sure that I've watched somebody do this in the past, but I have been doing it for so many years that I couldn't even tell you. I do not remember. I've also have one of those Pampered Chef pineapple cutters, and it is just extremely difficult to use, in my opinion. So I just really think this is the best way. And ever since I have discovered this method, I am much more prone to picking up a fresh pineapple at the store because to me it's just so simple to cut up. And you definitely save money, buying it yourself versus like the pre-cut kind. So I'm really glad that my kids love fresh pineapple as much as my husband and I do. So good. So this one was really juicy and sweet. Truly the perfect pineapple. But by the time I got that cut up, the hot dogs were done. So those are the hot dog buns that I picked up. It's the first time I've bought those specific ones, and really good. Highly recommend. Nice and soft. But I'm just going to, of course, add that hot dog down. And as you can see, I am doing it on a little square piece of tinfoil. And I'm just going to tightly roll these up. And my intentions for the tinfoil is, like, I know it's not going to keep it hot by the time they go to actually eat it, but I was hoping that it would help prevent it from being like ice cold. I was hoping it would, if anything, be room temperature and like a touch of warm. So when I picked the kids up from school, that was the first thing that I asked. I asked them if their hot dogs were like really cold, and they both said no. So that is wonderful. I did give my daughter a pack of ketchup. My son does not like ketchup or any sauces at all. But yeah, I love when restaurants give me extra ketchup. I always save those. But to go along with it, I'm going to give them both some plain Lay's baked chips. They both really like those. So just putting that in the larger compartment of these Bent Go boxes. I bought these boxes at Kroger a few years ago, and they've held up great. I truly think that these are awesome for kids. And then that smaller part, I gave them the fresh pineapple. I'm throwing in a couple napkins just in case things get messy. Going to give them each a plastic fork to pick up that pineapple. And then these are new as well, the Capri Sun and the Moon Punch flavor. My kids really like them, and I'm pretty sure they glow in the dark, so I think that's really cool for like summer nights. I always include an ice pack in their lunches. As you can see, it's up there at the top in the zipper section, so that will keep the pineapple and the drinks cool. And this was another lunch that was a huge hit. I'm really glad that we finally gave the hot dogs a try and that they enjoyed them, because I'm totally going to do that pretty often in the future. Up next, I'm going to put together some homemade Lunchables. So we're going to do some pepperoni, cheese and crackers, and turkey cheese and crackers. So we're a big Ritz-loving family. These are in my pantry 100% of the time. And I also got these containers from Amazon as well. And anytime I put together homemade Lunchables, I like to make a couple extra. So that's why I am making 4. But I just got a block of Colby Jack cheese here that I have cut in half. And this little tool right here actually came from one of my son's Christmas gifts that he got a few years ago. It came out of a little cooking set. He's always loved helping me in the kitchen, so it's perfect for him. That cutting board that I'm using actually came with that set as well, and it just makes these fun little wavy shapes. I thought that would go good with these Lunchables. And I feel like this is just such a good way to stretch a block of cheese, and it's another one of those nice money saving tips is you just cut it up yourself. You can usually get these for $2, a little less, sometimes a little more. But what was left over, I just put in a little container. Me and my husband snacked on it. So I made sure to have the same amount as the crackers. And then for my son, I'm going to do 2 stacks of pepperoni for 2 of those containers. He does not like any other type of lunch meat. And my daughter likes pretty much any kind of lunch meat, but her current favorite is definitely turkey. So I like to buy this Oscar Mayer one. It's a little bit on the thick side. It's just really easy to cut into circles. And I'm just using that same biscuit cutter that I use with the provolone cheese in the first lunch. But I've also seen that you can use a medicine cup lid to get those perfect circles. So for the sweet treat that's going to go in the box, we're going to do a couple of these football themed Oreos. We all really love Oreos, and it's been quite a while since I've bought them. I'm also going to throw in a couple of these mixed berry applesauce pouches. And then here is those grape zero sugar Welch juices that I was talking about earlier. They're also really good. Homemade Lunchables are always a favorite, and I intend to prep and keep these in the fridge all summer long. My kids love Hamburger Helper. Their 2 favorites is probably the beef stroganoff and the lasagna one. And this was another first for us on trying this out for school. It definitely felt wild to be cooking Hamburger Helper at 6 in the morning, but it definitely started my day off feeling productive, I'll tell you that. You could definitely do it the night before or the day before and just heat it up the morning of, but sometimes I have trouble with planning ahead. Things don't really work out the way I imagine them sometimes, and that's okay. But I'm actually using ground turkey in place of ground beef because that's all I had in my freezer. I was out of ground beef, and my kids actually like ground turkey. They don't mind it at all, so it was a easy little swap there. And, I did season the meat with salt, pepper, onion, and garlic powder, and then I'm just simply following the instructions on the back of the box. So you add the milk, water, seasoning packet, and then your pasta. Bring it up to a boil, cover it, and let it simmer. Extremely simple. So as soon as I got that lid added on, I'm going to start priming the kids' thermos. I am always so thankful that thermoses were invented. I just think that they are amazing for a kid's lunch or anyone's lunch, really. It just makes it there's so many options available, and I just really like sending my kids with a hot lunch every now and then. So, if you are new to packing lunches or you just didn't know, you have to prime your thermos with boiling hot water. I just add the lid, let it sit anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. Now, while the food is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and prep everything else that I want to add to their lunch. So I am going to give them both 2 of these little cutie oranges. I love to store these in the fridge. I feel like they taste so much better when they're really nice and cold. And here lately, I've been loving just slicing these in half, and then when you go to eat them, you just kind of push it upwards and it kind of falls away from the skin. If you've ever had it this way, you know how good it is. I just feel like when you eat them this way, you don't get as much as that white all over it. It just tastes better, I swear. But yeah, to go along with it, I'm also going to give them each a strawberry light Greek yogurt. My kids love any type of yogurt. They're not picky. We're going to do the moon punches again. And then here's that Hamburger Helper after it is done. Sometimes if I have extra shredded cheese in my fridge, I'll throw that in there and let it melt. But they like it just as it comes. So Now I'm going to go ahead, take the lids off their thermos, and I'm going to dump out that hot water. If I'm adding dry food to their thermos, I will always take like a paper towel and I will dry out those thermoses really good. But if it's like a pasta or a soup, like a wet type of food, I don't even fool with that. Doesn't even matter. But this little blue cannon funnel is what I use to, just make the food going in there a lot easier without making a mess. And as soon as I get a thermos filled up, I will immediately put that lid on so that I can lock in that heat. I want their food to be as hot as humanly possible, so I don't leave it off a second longer than I have to. And their thermoses actually came with a spoon in the top that folds out into a full-size spoon. This day, they're getting a Christmas napkin, even though it is May. Like I said, they never know what they're going to get. But my son ate his whole thermos of that Hamburger Helper, and my daughter ate a little over half of it. She tends to do better when stuff like that is like freshly made and like kind of soupy. For this last lunch, I'm going to start off by showing y'all these little dessert cups that I made for the kids. So I'm going to make some little banana pudding cups. So I found this 0 sugar banana cream pudding mix. So I'm going to go with that. That's my first time buying that. And I'm just, again, following the instructions on the back, mixing it with some milk. I whisk it up real good. I let it sit for just a few minutes and it thickens up really quickly. I also went ahead and sliced up a ripe banana. And then these are the vanilla wafers that I'm going to be using. This is my first time buying the Great Value ones, and I think they're just as good as the name brand. And I love these little cups. I ordered those off of Amazon. I will link those as well. Came in a huge pack, and I like using them for so many different things. So I'm going to start by placing one vanilla wafer in the bottom of the cups, and then I'm just going to start layering on a few slices of bananas. I just started with 4 cups, but I actually ended up making 6 altogether. I just did the last 2 off camera because I did have some extra pudding mix and bananas and all that stuff. So next, I'm going to do a good thick layer of that banana pudding mix, and then I will just do another layer of everything. These came out so good. Definitely better if you let them sit for like 24 hours in the fridge. But again, I made these the morning of and they still got devoured. The kids absolutely loved them. And yeah, my husband and I had one as well. Really good. So for my daughter, I'm going to make her a turkey bacon ranch wrap. She loves anything like this. So just got a regular size tortilla laid out. I added a good layer of my homemade ranch. She loves this mesquite smoked turkey, so I gave her about 4 slices of that, just layered it down the middle. And I did air fry up some bacon. I had some leftover bacon in my fridge that was already cut in half and just ready to pop in the air fryer. And so I just laid that down the middle of the turkey. And now I'm just going to kind of wrap it up like a burrito. And I did go ahead and just cut that down the middle. And that's it. Very simple. But again, it's like one of her favorite things. Anything with turkey or bacon, she loves. And then for Boston, he's not going to eat a wrap like that right now anyways. Maybe one day. But he loves peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And right now he's on a big peanut butter and jelly kick. So I'm just making him a very simple sandwich. So we love the Jif peanut butter. I'm using some Sara Lee multi-grain bread. And this is just some Great Value grape jelly. But he loved that. And I just stored theirs in a Ziploc bag. I also am going to give them each a mozzarella string cheese. And then for Boston, I'm going to give him a little bag of this white cheddar popcorn. He loves that. And then for my daughter, her favorite chips are some Funyuns. So anytime I go to the dollar store, I like to get that 2-for-1 deal. Of course, they each get a banana pudding cup. You could also add some Cool Whip on top if you had some, or whipped cream. I think that would make it extra good. They're each going to get a spoon, and then this day they are going to get a blue Gatorade Zero as their drink. Both kids devoured everything. Just a really good, classic, simple lunch with a nice little sweet treat to end it with. And also, I forgot to take a picture of this lunch for my thumbnail. So luckily, I took one on Snapchat, so that's all I had to use. So if you're wondering why my thumbnail looks a little funny, that is why. But that does wrap up the video. I really hope that this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.